Well, the eye poke obviously gets a no contest from Edwards, which it's perfect that you bring up
Yeah.
Edwards because he is the next guy up on the fight or
Yes. Yes.
up on the card against Nate
Well,
Diaz. First time it's a 5 round fight. It's not a main event or a title fight, which is sick.
or
Which
co-main, I think, because I think originally
yeah,
this was going to be a co-main on the Houston card, which wouldn't have been a first. But the fact that they got moved to this card and made it a featured bout, not a co-main, made it a first. And I may be wrong on that, but I think that's what happened.
I think you are right about that. But what I was going to say is super interesting to note about bringing up Edwards is the fact that I believe you brought up the title, the
The
belt
welterweight.
holder,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Usman, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
So, I mean, for essentially, you're talking about Leon Edwards being ranked 3 here in this fight against Diaz.
Yeah.
This is kind of his audition to fight Usman.
It was in a weird way, right? A very unique path to the belt, but not a cheap path to the belt, not an easy path to the belt. I
No.
don't want that narrative to be misconstrued.
Well, he did dominate Muhammad, I thought, in my opinion, for the first almost 5 minutes of that fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair. But also, yeah. Not gonna, no disagreement there. But yeah, this Diaz fight, this was a pivotal moment, and it kind of was in a way, kind of like, I don't know. It wasn't a number one contenders match, but like it had the potential to be a number one contenders match, if that
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Right. Like if either guy won in like a stunning fashion or like had this great performance, like if Diaz beats Edwards in like a triangle choke or some sort of like Nate Diaz fashion, of course Usman is immediately saying, well, he beat the number 3 guy. Like, let me get that fight
And what a
because
fun
that's the money
pay-per-view.
fight.
What a
Yeah.
pay-per-view. What a pay-per-view that would be. Yeah, no, I'm on board with you. No, we got to talk about this huge money line. So it ended up being by the time the bell rung, it was minus 560 for Edwards, plus 385 for Nate Diaz, which that's a weird money line in and of itself. Vegas is trying to have its cake and eat it too with that money line, if you noticed. Not I
Trying to
don't
trick
know.
people into betting on Diaz is
That
honestly what that is.
yeah, true. But correct me if I'm wrong, a minus 560 favorite would typically yield better results on the underdog. That's what I'm saying is where they tried to hedge their bet. They gave
Yeah,
Diaz a smaller number.
right, but they made common people out of the betting pool because like as like a common better, you're not gonna go to a window with $25 and be like, let me put it on the 560 favorite. You're gonna look for like the most valuable dog because that's your mindset is like, I'm not betting a lot, so let me try and win a big amount with a little risk.
No, yeah, true. But yeah, they're fighting at welterweight, which Nate is a small welterweight. Leon, I gotta say, and it's hard, and this is in a division with Kamaru Usman. Leon might have the best physique in the welterweight division, man. His physique, god damn, bro. Like,
I'm
is
with
he a
that.
swimsuit model or what?
Bro,
My
he's like a
god,
straight V. His upper body's like a V.
straight
It's crazy.
V, shredded six pack. And no, it's like he's small in all the places he needs to be small and big all the places he needs to be big. Like, man,
Yeah.
what a physique. But yeah, I guess let's hop into it because I mean, we don't have to necessarily go round by round, but this fight I think breaks down into 3 chunks. There's the first round, there's the middle 3, and then there's the 5th round. Correct me if you see it another
100%.
way.
I 100% agree. That's a perfect assessment.
So how
Perfect.
did you see the first round?
Man, I honestly gave it to Edwards, but it was so close to giving it to Diaz. But it was also a weird round because you could tell both of them were like posturing each other and trying to figure out the fight
Yeah,
style and like how
yeah.
each one was going to like counter and fight. But I thought Leon Edwards landed some nice, clean, hard shots that Diaz landed some good shots, but I don't think they were as hard. Now, granted, Diaz has a way better chin, but I was just scoring it based on like who was landing better.
Yeah, man, and I gotta put an asterisk next to this. Like, I try to be as objective as possible for the breakdown. Sometimes it's really hard. It's hard for me with McGregor. It's hard for me with Diaz. That's kind of maybe the end of the list as far as guys with like a weird emotional attachment to our fan attachment. But I guess I got to take this with a grain of salt.
I mean, sometimes I'm there with Izzy.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Which is very relevant. But so I gave round to Diaz for kind of subjective reasons. Like, and that's like I said, I'm kind of openly admitting that. I thought he did some things on the feet. Like he was able to do some things on the feet. And then Edwards did take his back, but was able to kind of do dick with it, which is kind of the narrative of the British fighting Edwards. Like, I
Yeah,
think,
to be quite honest, Diaz's defense was insane too. Like the way he'd put his leg up to block
but,
the hook and was defending the second hook with his leg, and then was able to spin his hips, and it was like,
like, it's
oh,
almost like Edwards looked uncomfortable being on somebody's back, which I didn't like. It's almost like he would have rather been standing than literally having somebody's back, which is
and maybe that's the Nate Diaz effect. You know, he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
and
Like,
it's the being a British fighter effect as well, right? I mean, like they can act
true,
like that's dead all they want, but I don't know if it is. I think that's a prime example. I think
it's
you give
true.
a Brazilian fighter, you give fucking Izzy Adesanya somebody's back, like he's not gonna like look
Not gonna
like he
squander it
doesn't
like
want to
that.
be there. Yeah. So yeah, not a fan of that. So like I said, kind of an asterisk, kind of a bias, kind of subjective. I gave round one to Diaz. Doesn't end up really mattering all that much. Uh, yeah, it's because he's a fan of Diaz. He's
Yeah,
a legend. Like, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that, but I think rounds 2 through 4 were pretty much all Edwards. There wasn't really too much
I
of an
think
argument to
like
be
pretty
made.
clearly, like he was landing
Yeah,
more significant strikes, more
the
clean
calf
strikes.
kicks were gnarly and a huge part of this fight. Now
Eh,
Diaz took them as good as anybody could really take them, but
That's the thing
they
is he's
factored
so
in.
tough, bro. He's so tough that like
Yeah.
against a lesser man, those are probably a little differently
Yeah,
perceived.
we may see this fight as get O'Malley, through in the third round of a less badass dude. I think that's the story of this fight, man. It's Diaz's toughness. That's the story of his career. That's the story of why people love him. I mean, and all the showboating, all the
Well,
fucking come on, motherfucker, come on, motherfucker, like all
but
that
then
shit.
the
Like,
fifth round, it all comes to fruition. It all comes to a
yes,
head.
he got within a nut hair of winning this fight, in
And
my
if he
opinion.
wasn't showboating Nate Diaz, he probably would have finished him right there
I
whenever
called
Leon
it.
Edwards' eyes
Whenever
were like
he
crossed around the ground. If Nate Diaz hadn't been flipping him off, pointing at him, talking shit, if he would have just gone in and flurried him, he would have won the fight.
I called that, bro. Like, I literally, like I said, this is when I turned into a fan, and I fully admit that. Like, whenever Diaz hurt him in the fifth round, I jumped up and was screaming. I probably woke up the whole house, like, finish! I felt like the Cobra Kai coach, like, fucking
Finish
finish him!
him!
Finish him! Go for the kill! Go for the kill! Like, I was freaking out. But he didn't, man. And that's why we loved it. It's a blessing and a curse. He fucking decided to fucking big dick him and look cool and showboat, which who doesn't love that, man? Who doesn't love that? But in that moment, man, and I'm talking about in that, what is it, a 3 second window? It's one of those moments. It seemed like a 30-second window,
It's
but
probably
in
three
real
or four
time,
second snapshot. Yeah.
3 or 4 seconds real time, he could have finished that fight. Even if he goes for just the most untechnical barrage, street fight
And just
barrage.
lands 1 out of 15.
Yes, bro, Lance wanted, dude. Oh, thank you. I would wanted it. I wanted it with every core of my fiber, bro. Like I like want, and that was against my prediction. I went
I
with
wanted
Leon.
it too. I wanted it
Like
for the
I
story.
wanted. I
For
got me.
it
I
just
will lose money on this.
because
Just
what's more
fucking
Nate
do it.
Diaz? What's more Nate Diaz than that?
Then a fifth round pull a rabbit out of your butthole fucking KO finish. I was like, I will lose money on this parlay. Like, just fucking do it, dog. Like, I will
Right.
pay you to do this. But it didn't happen, man. It didn't happen. And I think every MMA fan that didn't fucking lay the money on Edwards would agree with us.
So did Leon lose his shot to Colby?
I think so, yes,
I think so
yes,
too.
and kind of rightfully so. Like if you ask me today, which is the day after the fight, and we're breaking down the fight, if you ask me who would I rather see, would I rather pay $70 for Usman Covington 2 or Edwards Usman 2? It would still be 2. Most people forget that.
Yeah,
I would rather see Covington 2. Now,
me too.
can I agree? Can two things be true at the same time? Every single one of Leon Edwards' post-fight claims is true. He didn't bitch. He didn't moan. He didn't hold out. He has a 9-fight win streak. His last fight was to the champ. All of those talking points are true. And you know what else is true? I would rather see him fight Covington again.
Yeah, facts. Facts. I think matchup wise, I just think that Colby beat his last opponent way more impressively than Edwards just beat Diaz. And it's not that it was going to be impressive if he could have finished it out, but it's 5 rounds, and that simulates a
And he
title fight.
almost lost it. Like, honestly, bro, if round 5 goes the same as rounds 2 through 4, I'm singing a different tune. That one punch changed what I just said.
Oh, 100%.
Do you feel similar?
100%. 100%.
Yeah. Edwards has the facts behind him. Yeah, well, kind of.
I mean, kind of.
I mean, another fact is that Colby Covington fought Usman tougher than Edwards fought him. That's a fact as well. So
It's also another fact that that Covington's last win is more impressive than Edwards' last win, both in ranking and performance.
Yeah. Like, and dude, it's like kind of true if I'm arguing for Covington. Nobody dislikes Covington more than me.
I can't believe Kenneth's arguing against Covington.
Is he?
I mean,
I think
he's saying Edwards has facts behind him.
Yeah, but I think that's the point, right? Is that even with the facts behind him, we'd still rather see Covington. I think that's like the narrative to take.
It's a better
away.
sell.